Hello, I'm Rabbit. Uh, I am a Missoula local artist. I've lived here for the last 22 years of my life. Some people ask me why Rabbit, and it's because why go by your real name when you can be whoever you want to be in this life and make an identity for yourself. Uh, I never received formal education for art. I definitely just picked it up in pieces as I went along. My family is all artists, just about. And I guess art really began for me when my mom used to do the farmer's market. Uh, I think I was probably 6. And we used to sell dog beds together at first. And then it grew into her reaching out and trying out the art community that Missoula is so supportive and wonderful towards. We then, probably around 8, started selling art together, just silly doodles. And I would just learn these bits and pieces of how to sell art. And I think one of my biggest inspirations, people wise, was an art teacher from high school uh, who pushed me to look at anatomy more and really channel that energy. Growing up was a bit rough. Um, as most people know, teenagehood is not a great experience all the time. And art became my healthiest coping mechanism where I just got to let out all this negative energy or whatever I was feeling, negative or not, and just put it out there. And I probably around 19 began selling around Missoula in local shops like Upcycled, where you can also find my art in Imagination Brewery, where you can find prints from my much younger years. I started with realism. I was so strict about wanting to be picture perfect art, and I just never could really get what I was seeing out of my brain. And when I was probably about 20 was when I thought to myself that it didn't have to be super realistic, and started channeling more of this new, fun, creative way for me, which is closer to how I doodle than how I want picture perfect things to look. And it really, like, it was an avalanche of creation after that. With COVID, things have been harder. It's just so much chaos going on that it's hard to sit down and want to channel that. But specifically for this show, there are pieces that were based on, I don't want to say normal life, because what is normal? Uh, but it was based on, I thought I knew who I was. And I know that we all go through these periods of, I know who I am right now. Um, but all of a sudden, my world was flipped upside down. A lot of my pieces in this current show reflect spiritual beings and ghosts around the main portrayed character, who the main portrayed character is usually a form of myself, even if it doesn't look exactly like me. And just being haunted by the past and a lot of self-reflection. Um, it's hard to say exactly without looking at the pieces, I guess. Uh, I put a lot of poems with my works of art. They're just these short little, what I would call subconscious flow. where I just, what I am feeling at that exact moment that I made that piece of art, or even sometimes a song that I will link with my art, that kind of helps express that feeling more. Words are words are a terrible form of communication, if you ask me. I've never been good at English per se, and there's something about art and music that really fine tunes and sends a message better than words can. This is Rabbit. It was nice seeing you all. You can find my art on Instagram under the Dream Bandit _ between Dream and Bandit. We'll see you around.
Hey, so my name is Alex Love, and I moved to Missoula just in September. And yeah, so I'm a newbie here, and I've been loving it. The community here has been incredibly supportive. But it's funny, I guess to go back, I got my bachelor degree in art management, so doing more curating type of work back in 2012 from Appalachian State in North Carolina. And from there, I went to Boulder, Colorado, and worked at the MoCA Boulder Museum of Contemporary Art for a year and loved it. But I was really itching to go out and travel. So from there, I lived in Australia for a bit. And while I lived there for a year, came back to Asheville. And that's when I got into wedding coordinating. Um, then went back over to New Zealand, spent 2 years there, and then just recently came back. And that's kind of what brought me to Missoula, was kind of the same kind of vibe that New Zealand has. I kind of found in Montana, and I just love it here so much. But anyway, that's what brought me here, and I I got here, and honestly, it was the second day that I arrived, and I had been a wedding coordinator at that point for um, at two different venues really, and it was really conflicting for me. There's a lot of waste that goes into the production of one single event. So at the end of an event, there would be a dumpster full of garbage from one event. And after spending some time in Southeast Asia and especially Vietnam, and then immediately coming home to America and then working some of these weddings that were probably like over $100,000, I was like, whew, I don't know if I can go back into all of this. To see all of that waste just within a few hours was really hard and weird. So then I moved to Missoula, and I I found myself then the second day accepting a job over at a wedding venue in town. And I was like, what am I doing? It's just one of those things that I'm like, I keep going back to. So I was like, how could I pair this with my experience with art? And I've also worked as a paraprofessional doing art therapy type of work back in Asheville at a really wonderful organization back home, Open Hearts. Anyway, I was just kind of like, how can I tie all of this together? Because I keep going back to the weddings. And once again, just like every event I have worked for 10 years, I would be secretly collecting the flowers and being that person at the end of the event going and being like, oh, I have to go and collect all this stuff because it's going to be thrown away. And I, after working some of the events over at this place in town, I started collecting the flowers and making art with them all. And it's been incredible, the amount of support that I've had in this community here. Um, it's crazy. I guess I started up Relove. My last name is Love. It's really cheesy, but it it kind of goes along with the whole wedding thing, and um, you know, and it's repurposing everything. So all of my materials or my canvases and then all of the flowers are all repurposed, except during COVID, got a little low on flowers, getting a little sparse on the weddings there. So picked a few flowers during COVID, but besides that, yeah, everything is repurposed. And yeah, it's just been amazing though to see the support in the community here. So yeah, my inspiration, it's kind of all over the place, but honestly, art has been, it's been therapy for me throughout my childhood, and my ideas are kind of all over the, yeah, just all over the place. Um, I look back at a lot of my old journals sometimes if I'm feeling like a little bit uninspired, and to kind of find some new ideas there. But I decoupage. So basically, all of the flowers that I rescue from these weddings, I press them and I decoupage them on glass, or I'll just glue them onto the art that I do. And yeah, it's it's really funky, really weird, but it's been fun. And feel free to check my stuff out. I have a website. It's reloveart.com. And I also have an Instagram. It's relove, and the E's are threes. Uh, and yeah, my stuff. You can find some of my stickers and my prints at Rock and Rudy's right now. And yeah, appreciate you guys having our art up. So thank you.